you could see yourself. You're sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you. You don't even notice. Should've told you straight away. You don't have to be afraid anymore. I know you haven't noticed. You know that I won't let you go. Put your arms around me and I'll let you know how it feels when time goes slow. And I won't let it rush when I see you dance. And the moment comes when I fall and time goes slow. I fall into you. I fall into you. Hey, I wish I could show you more. 'Cause baby, you deserve some more. But still you're here and that's what I adore. Should've told you straight away everything I have to say. But I'm afraid and I know you haven't noticed. You know that I won't let you go. Put your arms around me and I'll let you know how it feels when time goes slow. And I won't let it rush when I see you dance. And the moment comes when I fall and time goes slow. I fall into you. I fall into you.
Well, good morning from the ridge.
Good morning.
It's a beautiful morning. It's sunny and there's a little chill to the air, but not bad. But we thought we'd bring you out here on the deck and let you see part of the ridge, because that will evolve when we have time. It'll get
That's
there.
so cute.
You know-
She said, when we have time.
Yeah, that thing. Well, good morning. Hope y'all enjoyed breakfast. We had a wonderful breakfast, and as you guys could tell, my bread was dwindling. So be looking for a bread video here real soon, because I got to make it anyway. I might as well shoot it. Right?
And I'm going to eat it.
Yeah. It's early for him. A handsome man actually crawled out of bed fairly early this morning on his standards.
I woke up to the sun beating down on my face.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to roll over and be like, no, I don't want to. And then it just didn't work.
Yeah, so today is going to be a divide and conquer day. Kind of, sort of. It's partnership, but yet trying to get more than one thing done. I have a video yet to edit and put out for part 2 of the bromance. Now that David has put out his final video on his premiere last night, we're safe to put out the rest of our content. I might mix it in. Who knows what I'm going to come up with. I guess we'll just let the creative juices flow and go from there. But I'll also be helping him with the logs on the sawmill. And then my handsome man's going to keep sawmilling.
Sawmilling. That's what I'm going to do.
What are those called anyway? Isn't there a word for a sawmiller? They're called something. I don't know. Put it in the comments if you know. But I think there's a term for a sawmiller. Sawyer. That's what it is. Never mind. You don't have to put it in the comments. I mean, you can if you want, but we got it. Yeah. So, what? Sawyer. Sawyer.
Sawyer.
So do you suppose that's why, because they say we get our last names from whatever our profession was. Do you suppose that those that have a last name of Sawyer?
Well, that doesn't help my last name at all.
Well, you could have Rocky.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe you were a rock quarry specialist or something.
That's probably why I love rocks. That is true. Why didn't I never put those two together?
Because we didn't have this genius morning conversation where one of our brains is only firing on half a spark plug.
So you're saying I should let you sleep a little more before I throw you into a coffee chat?
No, it's weird. I mean, I'm sure y'all have gone through the same thing. Like I had pinpointed years ago when I was in the Marine Corps that like the prime number for me for sleep was 6 hours. Which I know it's funny now because I definitely sleep more than 6 hours, but I think that that's part of part of the morning grogginess. And I think the difference too was back then, I literally, set my alarm, it'd go off, I'd jump out of bed, get dressed, ready to go to work, and I was out the door. Like it was a cereal bar or something, or I'd get breakfast on the way. But I would hit the ground running, literally. And now, with, I don't even want to say a slower paced life, but
'Cause it's not.
one that doesn't require me to set an alarm and have to be up by a certain time every single morning. Although with summer coming, I probably should transition to that method, and I know we've talked about it. And I did it some last summer, so that you can get the full use of the morning
Before it gets brutally hot.
But I've noticed that even you get up and enjoying coffee, having an amazing breakfast, like nothing to complain about. But
No.
I think my brain is still and my body is still trying to adjust to be like, what is all this? You're giving me fuel in the morning, or
I've only been retired, not even a year? No.
2.
Yeah, almost 2 years. And, years and years and years of working first shift as a nurse. My alarm clock was off at 3:30 in the morning, and I am the type of person, I am not a hit the ground running. Don't talk to me for a half hour. Let me drink my coffee. And so I would take I'd get up at 3:30, and then I wouldn't start getting myself ready for the day until around 4. And then I was also the kind of nurse that we all get report in the mornings on the patients that we're going to have, but I also like to go in, and I would always go in early and read all of dictation, read past charts of anything that happened since I was last on the unit. And that way I could not only get report, but I had a full on picture of my patients. And so for me, I would leave the house by 4:30, 4:45 at the latest. And then my day would start, and I would sometimes work 12, 14, 16-hour days. So, but
I think you eyelinered your hair.
I probably did. But got me off track. Anyway, yeah. For me, I think it's just because I am so conditioned of getting up so early, to where I'm lucky to sleep past 4:30-ish still. On a good day, or if I'm really, really tired or not feeling well, I'll sleep till 6:30. So.
And I used to naturally be a super early riser. As I remember the story goes along, because obviously I was so young, I don't remember exactly how it went. But my mom and them were trying to get me ready to go to school. And so she had bought me an alarm clock. But I didn't need that alarm clock for very long. Like all of a sudden, after a little while, I just automatically on the week, like every day of the week, it didn't matter. I was up super early.
So what you're saying is I need to buy you an alarm clock.
No. What I'm saying is people change, and I got different as I'm older. I don't know. It's weird, honestly. So where I was going with that was,
it's early, folks.
A lot of people, when you talk to them, like before they had kids and after having kids, they would be like, oh, I could sleep through anything, but then I had kids and now I'm a super light sleeper because your brain. Yeah. Mine actually went opposite. I was a super light sleeper got up, naturally early, did all those things. And then I, once I started having kids, no, the building could fall down. And
I think that also, because we've talked about it, is, you did 3 tours, 1 in Iraq and 2 in Afghanistan, and you got to sleep only when you got to sleep, and you had to sleep through, I can't even imagine the amount of mortar shells and stuff,
tank grounds
going off. So I think maybe that's where you get a lot of your really, really hard sleep, and you can sleep through anything. So what was that one day where I dropped something and you thought I fell?
The other morning when Charlie knocked the glass off. But so there are times, because I don't necessarily wake up when she's getting out of bed. Sometimes I kind of like have a notion that, hey, I felt her move or get like, but most of the time, no. So, but when there is a loud noise, because my brain is starting to wake up, but not quite all the way, and then you catch something that you're like, that's like having kids in the room's quiet, and you're like, great, what are they into? What mess do I have to go clean up? Because they're never quiet. How do you...
And I try to be quiet in the mornings just because, as much as I love my handsome man, I still like that half hour alone.
I appreciate her having that. There's been times, y'all, that, I woke up, and even before her occasionally, and be like, all right, I'll get up and make her coffee. No. Nope. If I wake up before her, I just lay there and pretend I'm still sleeping until she's gotten up, and give her a good half hour, 45 minutes before I'm thinking that I even want to associate. Because, that
my daughter's
bear.
The same way. Jenna's the same way. She'll growl at you. She'd used to walk out.
You will growl at people.
She'd walk out in the mornings, and I'd be like, "Good morning, sunshine," and she'd literally, as she's walking to the bathroom, go "Rrr," and growl at me. I'm like, okay, I guess so, but I just didn't realize it was me as well.
Oh, it is. Like she had warned when we first got together. She's like, "Well, I'm gonna tell you, Jenna will growl at you," and then those first couple times I got up, either with her or before she's had that first half a pot of coffee and sat around for at least a half hour to an hour, she growls. Like,
no, I think it's because I like to have that wake up time and have those conversations with myself, just to reflect and to have any devotions that I want to go through my list of appreciations, because, some people aren't morning people, and I like to start my day off good. I was always also one of those moms that I always made sure my kids had as wonderful of a morning as they possibly could before they went to school, because how can we expect our kids to learn if they've started their day off getting yelled at, screamed at, not a good breakfast, it enforced it even when I was a school bus driver working my way through nursing school. I felt so badly for the kids that got on the bus and their eyes were tear stained. And it broke my heart, because I would try to give them a little extra love or a hug, or talk to them a little bit, because we put so many expectations on our little ones to perform, and we neglect their basic needs. And if we start them off on a bad day, screaming and yelling at them and, do this and do that, and then we shove them out the door to get on the bus or whatever, I couldn't buy into that kind of parentage. And so, I think I still like to start my days off positive. So if I need that extra half hour in the mornings to reflect and start, my gratitude list and appreciation, and really look at those moments to get my day going. And it does. By the time he's up, I'm like,
oh, she is. Like, it's,
And then he'll look at me. Let me drink my coffee.
I'm staring at her as the coffee cup's trying to hit my lips for the first time, and she's you know, because she's been up for an hour or more. She's had half a pot of coffee, you know, and she's ready to go. Which, like I said, there's a lot of times that I actually function better by getting up, going, hitting the ground running, but it not all the time. And you know, like even this morning, you know, I get up and she'd been going through comments and checking emails and doing her morning little, you know, duties and checks and stuff, and I hadn't even sat down yet, and she was like, well, I want to blah blah blah, and I'm like, whoa, pause, I gotta get some of this, you know, and grab my coffee. I'm like, let me, and it's funny because like it's what I, you know, love about my wife and her ditziness and her, like, you know, the obvious things sometimes doesn't, like, they're straight over her head. Yeah. And I love that, and I appreciate it every day because it is an amazing trait, and it makes you giggle even in the morning when you're groggy and you're like, can I just wake up for a minute? You know, but I'm giggling inside because she doesn't even know she's doing it until you say something. Then she's like, "Oh yeah, you did just wake up, didn't you?"
I'll just scoot over here and you drink your coffee. It was so funny because I accidentally did the same thing to David when we were on Come On Mountain, because I'd been up for quite a long time. I think I was up at like 4 a.m. and the guys wanted biscuits and gravy. Well, I'm sorry, I make my biscuits in a cast iron skillet with butter. You just can't beat it, right? And we were going to try to use his little toaster oven, and we had discussed it the night before, and he's like, oh, yeah, I got cast iron. And so I was like, awesome. So, you know, I'm going about I'd already been up for hours. I'm ready to roll. And I hear the tiny house door open and close. I'm like, oh, David's up. So I like pop open the door. I'm like, good morning. I'm like, hey, you got that skillet for me? And he's looking at me in his robe. And for me, it was just like Christmas Vacation. And who's the uncle, whatever, you know.
I know what you're talking about.
The Crappers full dude. And he's just kind of looking at me, and he's got his monster in his hand. And he just looks at me, and I'm like, I'll get back to you when you wake up. And he's like, yeah. He goes back in the house.
Well, because we were at the transition of the house that we hadn't like got the fridge inside, so it was still outside. So he had to come outside to be able to get his drink and his morning started.
And I was just like, good morning.
She's seen his face and was like, oh, well, let's go. And it's like, 5 minutes, lady. Give us.
No, I'm ready to go. But anyway, that's kind of how some of these mornings roll. And if I seem a little bit more than him, it's typically because I'm being extra, or
we're filming earlier like we are right now. I mean, it is lovely, and I do enjoy the fact that our house, like, we don't have any curtains or shades, and
I've never liked them.
The way the house is oriented when the sun starts coming up, which, you know, this time of year is kind of over that way, but as it comes up, our window is right above where you guys are sitting.
Excuse me.
On the other side of the kitchen here, so it faces that sun comes up and it angles almost perfect where it hits me in the face. And I remember when I first retired and I moved back home, and I was living out on the family farm, the bedroom that I had faced the east, and I would leave the curtains open because most of the time, especially in the summer months more, that's what would wake me up to get up and go do morning chores and all that stuff. Was as soon as that sun like hitting my face, I'm like, oh, it's daylight, it's time to go. Like it does trigger, it triggers like me and my body to get going. I mean, I might not move as fast as soon, but it is a natural alarm clock. And we've started to kind of talk about it before, but in the camper, when we were up in the camper, we had put reflectix over the windows to help keep it cool in the summer.
So it was like a cave.
And yeah, so it was really, really dark. And if it's dark, crazy enough, I'll sleep for 10 hours straight.
Yeah.
And I feel worse. I feel bad for it. Like my body is dragging and that kind of stuff. But the difference now of being able to have that natural light come in, and it makes mornings a lot easier, a lot better. I mean, probably still sleep a little longer than my wife would prefer, but I mean,
I don't mind. I mean, the
rocking
only
that
thing I
retired
mind
life.
is like, so one of the things is I don't like to be the mother. You know what I mean? Like, so I won't purposely wake him up. Like if he wants to get up, he'll get up. And so, and honestly, I would josh him a little bit all summer long because I'd have all the chores done in the morning. I would have done the garden. I've done harvest. I've done everything before he rolls up. And I would josh him a lot about it. But then winter came. And I'm very, very cold intolerant. And I was just fine letting my handsome man go out and do all the chores in the cold. So there again, it's just a part of the partnership.
Right.
So I don't mind. But anyway, we're going to get to our next question because we did have a question from Up North Girl. The question is, could you have done this without doing your YouTube channel? Absolutely, unequivocally, words are hard.
Yeah, you know the
Yes.
word she's going for.
We very much could. And in fact, before Jason and I got together, I did a whole homestead for 10 years, not on YouTube. And I absolutely loved it. And it wasn't something where YouTube, we looked at it as any kind of financial gain. Because to us, it's not. Like, we've worked our lives and worked so hard and planned for this homestead. You know, we didn't come together debt-free. We didn't come together with, you know, a cushy bank account or anything like that. We came together, decided on our dream, as fluid as it may have been. And regardless of what we were doing, that debt-free was where we wanted to be. So we took years and years of penny pinching, thrifting, and, you know, not buying this, not buying that, just to put us in a position to become debt free. And we did it. We did it. And we're not rich by any means, but I've always lived by the mantra that if you require very little, you require very little in terms of money. So YouTube was never meant to be a prime source of income for us. We did it mostly because we were moving away from family and friends, and we wanted that option for our kids and grandkids to really know us. And
and that's where we didn't start YouTube. I mean, if you go back on our main channel and see our very first video, you know,
no, it's bad.
It was we had already bought the property. We had been traveling. We'd been looking for 3 years that we snowbirded and came down south. We went all over the place looking at what area or region we wanted to settle in. And we didn't film any of it. We weren't YouTubers. I mean, we took pictures and stuff on our phone as you typically do, but it was not, YouTube wasn't a, hey, this is how I'm going to fund everything, and so the simple, I guess, answer, if there is one necessarily, is we would be doing this whether cameras are running or not. We have an added bonus of the cameras. They're a supplement to what we're doing. Because like she said, it was a start for friends and family to stay up to date with us, and something that our grandkids can go back and look at, what did Nana and Papa do, and who were they, and because we do live far away from them, so they are able to watch us though. They do. Our kids will send us screenshots of our grandkids watching us on TV, and when we do go back up, because they're all still really young, and so we try to FaceTime a lot. And when they actually see us in person, they're like looking, like trying to figure it out, like what, like it's so cute. They're so used to seeing us, but there's also they can relate. They're not so afraid. Yeah. There's no stranger danger. Right. Every time we go back, because toddlers and infants, they have short memories, and we just hope that this is that avenue to keep us connected. And it reminds me of a funny story, and I'll be somewhat quick with it. But obviously the whole time I was in the Marine Corps, I had to be completely, I was clean shaven. And ever since my first deployment is when I started shaving my head bald. So, eyebrows was about the most hair I had on my face. And every time I would come home, and I've always been really good with children. Like
because he's a big kid himself.
Well, that helps. And why not? Why not live a childhood your whole life?
I will throw a couple pictures up on our community post here at Coffee Chat of him just being a kid. Y'all are gonna love it. Anyway, carry on.
So I would come home on leave or vacation or something from the Marine Corps, and my sister's daughter, I had got a niece, and she was the only child that if I would go to pick her up or say hi to her or anything, she would start crying and screaming. And I'm like, what in the world? My whole life, I've been able to, grab a baby and soothe them, or, a child and get them to, calm down, stop crying, start laughing and giggling, have a good time, right? Not her. She was just like a vicious cry. And I'm like, I looked at my daughter or my sister, and I'm like, your kid's broken. Like, I don't know what's... And we could never figure it out, other than I would only see her maybe a couple times a year. And she was, really, really young, obviously. And when I retired, I quit shaving, obviously, right? And
I've never seen him without a beard, y'all. Never.
Other than in pictures, but yeah, in person, she's never seen me. Because I started growing my beard as soon as I retired, and I've had it ever since. Mm-hmm. So... when I retired and I went over to my sister's, and of course my niece was a little bit older now, but I went over there, and even up until that point, like the last time I was still in the Marine Corps but came home, like earlier that year, I was clean shaven. She still like avoided me, would look at me like, stranger danger, who's this creepy guy? When I retired, grew my beard out, came home, all of a sudden she runs to me and loves me to death, and I of course I love her too. And we were sitting around one night, and all of a sudden it hit us. I was the only guy back then that came around, out of all the friends and family that had no facial hair. Mm-hmm. Like everybody she'd been around had, mustache and goatees, beards, or just like they had some sort of facial hair. And it's strange how the human brain works, and what they can correlate things with, right? So having those memories for the grandkids, so that they don't get that, like you said, the stranger danger feeling, because they are recognizing us. So when we do come, they already know kind of who we are. I mean, albeit maybe it's different, and they do kind of look at us like, wait a minute, you're not on the TV. How are you in real person? And
yeah.
So, but it does allow them, because we noticed it with our one granddaughter, was before they started watching our videos regularly, she would come to me or come to us for a little bit, and then all of a sudden she's like, wait a minute, no, she wanted to be back with her mom, but now they watch our videos religiously, and she just loves it and lights right up when we FaceTime. And
we do see them a lot more than what we show on camera. When we started the YouTube channel, we talked to all of our kids, and we completely left it up to them on whether or not they wanted to be at all on the channel. And so we don't push our videoing on any of the family. And as time goes by, if they choose to want to be on camera, then wonderful. We'll bring them on and everything. But that's probably why I think Gabby was fine having Oakland in the,
right,
at the family reunion and things like that. So, but the other ones have chosen just at this time not to, and we respect them.
We do, and we understand that. Like, we chose to pick up the camera and record our lifestyle. Yeah. And put everything out there. They didn't, so it's unfair to them if we want to throw it right in their face and be like, well, this is my life, you have to do it now. And that's just YouTube's secondary when it comes to family, and so always. As the years come forward, and we have visitors and stuff from family, if they choose to want to be here, then awesome. If they don't, then that's fine. But to round out the question,
yes, we could have done all of this.
We were doing it.
We
without
were, we were doing it. So YouTube is not something that we have. Although I will credit y'all with the fact that a lot of times having the YouTube channel kept us motivated. Because as we gained subscribers, as we gained viewers and became friends, it's like there's that, I don't want to let them down. They're expecting a video out. What can we work on today? And so it did keep us very well accountable to ourselves and to y'all to keep working, keep doing something. And on days when we really probably would have just laid in bed all day, we're like, oh, there goes a bunny rabbit, and it ain't one of ours. Whew, squirrel. Okay, bunny. But yeah, so thank you guys for that, for keeping us motivated. It definitely has enhanced our life, and y'all have brought us so much joy, and we're just loving getting to know all of our subscribers and friends, truly. So with that being said, I'm gonna let my handsome man have one more cup of coffee, and then I'm gonna be cracking that whip because we got stuff to do. Right?
Yeah, I've got more milling to do, y'all, and we had a great time doing it yesterday.
We did. There'll be a video coming out on the main channel over at White Rock Homestead, and yeah, let's do it.
Ready to get it.
I am.
Go.
Are you?
Do it.
Are you?
I probably should put regular pants on first.
The sandals probably aren't gonna work either.
And yeah, I can't pull off the flip-flop farmer.
No.
That's Johnny's job.
Well, once again, guys, we appreciate y'all taking this time with us to chat for coffee. And somebody actually had commented yesterday that, sorry they missed the live. They thought this was live. And I'm like, wait a minute.
I mean, it kind of...
That's actually a really good idea. But with our fluid schedule, that would tie us down to certain times. And there's times when it wouldn't work.
And we might, as this channel grows, do a pop-up live on it or something, but it won't. I don't think there's going to be a standard schedule with it, just because
y'all have been like with us every single day, and we'd actually said we're not doing it every day, but we found that we really enjoy it.
Well, yeah, it is fun, and I know that you all, and we appreciate you for that, are enjoying, a little bit more of this on this channel, vice a lot of the talk on the main channel. We like to focus on the activity stuff over there, whether it's the gardening, the animals, building, land clearing, anything that we're doing over there to build the homestead. But for us to be able to get an outlet and be able to talk to you and maybe reach a few more of you. So
yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to get to work for real.
Oh, and if you have any more questions, put them in all caps in the comments, and we'll pull them. We'll try to get them. So peace out from the ridge.
Later.